Welcome, friends and thrill seekers. Lynn Schaeffer Productions presents Thunder in the Pennsylvania Mountains 2001. We begin our saga with Thanksgiving leftovers from the Jersey Shore. Wall Stadium's Turkey Derby is one of the season's must-see events. Wall is a high-bank third mile complete with an interesting wooden fence. It's one of the most exciting asphalt ovals this side of Winchester, Indiana. 45 pavement pounder modifieds fight to qualify for the 350-lap features, which marquee this year's 27th annual Holiday Classic. A flip usually spices the Derby. This year's turkey turnover is Willie Sharkey doing an inverted slide after climbing the boards. Tim R. from nearby Tom's River completes a winning charge from 7th place starting spot. Here Tim moves his black number 4 into the lead past the 66 of Ken Woolley on the 23rd lap of the first feature. That's last year's Derby champ, Martin Truex, following Tim past Woolley. Truex pulls even with R in late race traffic, but the first 50 goes to Tim R over Truex and John Blewett. Victory lane is short as there's 2 more 50-lappers to go. R fell out of the second feature, ending his chances for the overall Derby championship. That's the fluorescent-colored number 00 of John Blewett III, who started up front, staying there for the win, although under pressure from second-place finisher Mike Carpenter. Blewett's father, John Jr., was turkey champ here back in 1980 and 84. Tim R. is back, making it 2 of 3 in the finale. But the 3rd, 1st, and 6th place finishes of Howell, New Jersey's John Blewett cooped him his first Turkey Derby championship. February 1st. The 3rd annual 360 Nationals draws a record 74 small block sprinters to Tampa, Florida. The 3-race series offers $64,000 in prize money. Greg Coverdale is one of many familiar faces here on the highly acclaimed East Bay surface. Turn 1 traffic congestion leaves local 360 Super Team member Red Stauffer on his lid. National 410 superstar Kenny Jacobs finds the small block going plenty tough. The format qualified from heats but lined up by time trials, inverting 6 for the feature. Number 63, pole sitter Greg Wilson from Ohio leads among lap traffic over Kenny Adams, number 2, and our own Lance DeWeese in the Harris Furniture 88. Lap 10. Lance is making his move from 3rd to 1st. No one does it better. As DeWeese led the rest of the way, a spat of late race dropouts shuffled the finish. Joey Saldana wound up 2nd with Travis Rylett 3rd in the 25-lapper.
Mr. Colin does a heck of a job promoting this place, and he puts some money up for these shows, and I'm happy he does that, and how he does is a fair show, and we're just hoping the rest of the week goes good, and hopefully when we come back here before 10, everything's going to go good.
February 2nd. We like Kurt Michael's enthusiastic attitude about making the highlights, even when he screws up. Kurt and the Super crew had the 87 back in action later in the evening. Also coming to grief on the front stretch during qualifying is Mike Tharp. The Fort Myers, Florida resident is out for the night.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Hang on. Cross your fingers. Mike.
Feature time. The yellow 31 of Kelly Kinzer chugs off as the engineer, but slow-talking, fast-driving Texan Gary Wright, number 9, and Kenny Adams are turning up the heat. The 360s headline the weekly card at East Bay, and there could not be a more popular winner than old friend Kenny Adams, who has been a regular here since moving to Florida. Wright wound up 2nd, with Lance DeWeese continuing his good series, finishing 3rd.
I'll tell you, it feels real good to finally win one of these winter national races. I know it's not the big one tomorrow night, but it's the 3rd one, and we've never finished better than 2nd. And we got 4 of them and a couple DNFs and a 3rd, but we finally got one of these wins, and it's just the most satisfying thing for me, for everybody that worked so hard. I mean, you can just take a look at what we have and see how hard that the crew has worked. And I hate to start naming names for fear of forgetting somebody, but I mean, we work so many hours and so hard on the cars, and it really shows, when we qualify like we do. And really thought it was going to be a one-lane racetrack tonight around the top, but got lucky in traffic and got around Gary. And Gary Wright's the man here. I'm just real happy that a Florida guy could win a race in this national thing.
Rain postponed the 40-lap finale to Sunday afternoon, February 4th. The track is heavy. The parts manufacturers will do well. David Levingston is from Belleville, Ohio. A good save by Texan Johnny Bankston. Scott Young is from Mooresville, North Carolina. Greg Coverdale makes room for a low-charging Buzz Wilson, but leaves none for high-riding Buckeye Chad Jones. On several occasions earlier in the series, announcer Jack Miller, noting that the time lost in time trialing over 70 cars can kill the mood of any event, reminded the fans as a selling point that the finale would invert 6 by points with no time trials. The last lap. Jason Sides, number 7 from Bartlett, Tennessee, has led 39 laps from the pole. But here comes our own Jeff Shepard from Upper Cove, Maryland, driving one of the Nichols brothers' number 31s. Kenny Adams will finish third.
I kind of got close to him one time going into one-lap traffic, and I didn't want to stuff it in there and bump him or nothing, so I didn't. And then when we got to that lap traffic, right there at the end of the race, I was completely out of tear off, so I couldn't see the car in front of me. And in just that last corner going into 3, I wiped off just enough that I could see his car and that lap car, and I pinched it down there. He hit that rut, and I beat him to the line.
The Space Shuttle arches over the East Bay backstretch as we prepare to launch some stock cars during a solid week of the wildest late model racing anywhere in the solar system. Like the sprints, drivers are here from all over the country for this truly national event. Both sanctioning bodies, STARS and UDTRA, work together, producing the fields in excess of 90 each night. The racing was 3 wide all week, although a few fenders did get bent.
Well, the 83 of Scott James looked like he's down his side. Brought, turned her sideways, and up and over they go. Alongside Herb. Trouble on the back straightaway. Big trouble on the backstretch.
John Cresser Jr. was okay after a hard flip, as will be Jeep Von Womer. February 7th. This is feature racing for first early in the 50-lapper. Number 27, Ray Tucker from North Carolina, tries to hold off Dennis Erb, number 28 from Illinois. Dan Schleeper, number 9 from Wisconsin, along with Steve Lucas, number 5 from West Virginia. Erb pulls even with Tucker, but Tucker pulls away again, only to catch the cush a little in turn 3, allowing Erb in front. Tucker continued to slip back, as now it's Steve Lucas challenging Erb for first. He's got it. Lap 20. Greensburg, PA's Davey Johnson, number 1, running the outside, sweeps past Lucas into the lead. "37-year-old Davey is a 3-time STARS champion, and tonight's win is worth $5,000. February 8th, across Florida we go. Fortunately, we're driving north, away from Palm Beach, where thousands of voters, many with driver's licenses, can't follow arrows. The 5/8 mile at Volusia County is hosting 4 nights of all-stars sanctioned sprints, with the Sunday finale only rewarding points. The feature greens with Lance DeWeese, 88, leading before our own Shawn Michael dimples his Chad on turn 4. With DeWeese still leading, the restart produces this whole pile of Gore votes. Danny Lazowski and Greg Hodneck get the worst of the front stretch crash, but everyone will be back tomorrow night. The All-Stars invert 6 from time trials. Rarely will any racer win from behind this line of disenfranchisement, but tonight Dale Blaney has timed poorly before racing fast in the black number 10 designed by his brother Dave. Blaney from Hartford, Ohio, started 10th before taking first from DeWeese on just the 8th circuit of the big track. Flu-bitten DeWeese hung in for second, with Texan Ron Laney finishing third.
Mopar's been great to us. That's about it right now. Dave does an awful good job of getting us the best equipment and coming out here and winning these races. And it's a brand new car tonight that Dave built, so it's a little different, but it worked pretty good.
February 9th, Phil Gressman from Clyde, Ohio prepares to stand on the gas during night 2 at Volusia Raceway Park. Unfortunately, Phil's series is cut short after rolling the Wise Motorsports car into a ball on turn 2. Jared Hall is also involved after being at the wrong place when Phil brushed the inside wall. Brownsburg, Indiana's Joey Saldana leads the feature from the front row. P.J. Chesson slips too high in turn 2. Kenny Jacobs is out of here after catching the berm. The restart sets us up a good one, as Pleasant Gap, Iowa's Terry McCarroll, driving the junior Holbrook number 8, is going to give the leader a run for his money. The battle for the lead includes sustained side-by-side racing, something that's becoming very rare in winged 410 sprint car competition. McCarroll was credited with leading laps 15 and 16, but Joey comes back to lead the last 4 of the 20 laps, and that includes the one that counts. The win is worth $4,000 to the Mox Racing Team. February 10th. A neat thing at Volusia Raceway Park. If you arrive early or share our disdain for watching time trials, you can often drift over to the paved third mile at no additional charge, where the small car nationals are allowing few dull moments. Back to the dirt, where Danny Lazowski looks for his first win from the pole. But the dude was forced pit side with a flat tire, handing the lead over to Chad Kemena. While sitting under red for a Ron Laney Joe Rowe flip, Chad also had a shoe go down, relaying the win back to Craig Delansky from Zimmerman, Minnesota. Consistent Lance DeWeese finished second, with Danny Wood third.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a tough deal when, it's a track that's grinding on tires and the guy's got to drop out because of that. But that happened to us here last year. We led the final night right up to the end and blew a tire, with a lap to go. And, it's just the way it goes sometimes. Luck can go your way and sometimes it won't. But I can't thank this team enough. My crew, they work their butts off and do a great job for me. And, these Fisher motors are awesome. And this Maxim race car was just working real good tonight. And, I just got a lot of good people behind me, and that's what puts you in a winner's circle.
February 11th, the top 6 are inverted by series points for the 30-lap $7,000 to win Sunday night finale. Danny Lazowski again started on the pole, and this time he makes no mistakes and has no flat tires. The first 3 positions never changed throughout the race, as Danny Wood stayed in second and Tim Schaeffer held third. Here's the dude from Dover, Missouri, along with car owner Tony Stewart, just back from his win in the Bud Shootout over at Daytona. We couldn't leave Volusia without reviewing the annual UMP Modified Spectacular. That was Ken Maracle from Illinois, and it's a miracle he's not hurt.
Welcome to East Bay Raceway. I hope you have a great time.
The Duke of Destruction. All-Star founder Bert Amick finds a clean and comfortable seat as the 4-night series begins on February 14th. Joey Saldana is the man on a mission, taking first from fellow Hoosier Danny Smith, number 4 on lap 20 of the 25 feature circuits. Danny Lazowski would come on to finish second, with Smith holding on to third.
Well, I can tell you what, I've had this car here for the 360s. I went to Volusia with it, and I came back here, and I haven't changed a torsion bar in it yet. So, this is great. I haven't touched the car, just keep changing the tires, and we've been pretty decent.
Florida scenery on February 15th. Jeff Christensen and Steve Gigius zoom in on the action. Gene Lynch treats everyone exceptionally well here at East Bay. How does Elizabeth change the parts on Ed Lynch's car without ever seeming to have dirty hands? Night 2 included one spill after Jeff Shepard got into Terry McCarl. Sammy Swindell was an entry this year. Sammy had an off series, struggling just to qualify. That's Jason Sides in number 7. Sometimes a 6-car inversion just isn't enough. Joey Saldana started on the pole with Lazowski again finishing second and Jason Johnson third. February 16th, the plank fencing has taken its share of abuse as 3 solid weeks of East Bay racing nears its conclusion. East Bay has the most durable dirt racing surface we have ever seen. But track management has been publicly troubled by the single-file nature of much of the All-Star Series. It's becoming the nature of the big wings with big blocks. Tonight it's the Apple 12 of Greg Hodnett leading every lap. The Memphis, Tennessee native led Joey Saldana and Craig Delansky across the finish.
Hey, I'm Laura. Welcome to East Bay Raceway, where you have the best racing in the whole world.
Most fans were disappointed when the track management intentionally slicked the track over for the Saturday night finale as an ill-advised method to widen the groove. Joey Saldana, number 17, does go from 6th to 1st on the first lap with this great move on the outside.
Puts the pedal to the metal right at the start.
Victims of Joey's charge include Hodnett, Ron Laney, and Gary Wright. Despite the outlaw-style surface, Sammy Swindell continued a tough week. If the $5,000 appearance money rumor is true, Slammin' Sammy should have broke about even. That's Flying Ryan Flynn on the wall. Wayne Johnson's problems are even worse. Meanwhile, up front, Saldana has pulled into the infield, handing the lead and $25,000 win over to Gary Wright, number 9, from Hooks, Texas. Ron Laney finished second with Hodnett third.
The track looked like it was pretty hard and slick.
It really was. You know, I got to thank a lot of help. I don't have any full-time help, but my dad, Ernie, Lindy, Fred, they all, I mean, they don't do this very often, but they did all they could do tonight. Mountain tires. The Maxim chassis was great, Salina engine, the Hoosier tires, but we've had a tough week all week. We just, you know, we was racing good, couldn't qualify, and but boy, we sure got it lucky starting on the front row.
February 16th, the Harrisburg State Farm Show was opened at the birth of the 1900s, and they don't build them like this anymore. The 23rd annual Motorama features the micro sprints in the big arena. But first, Motorama salutes the farm show with lawn tractor races. 47 micros battle to qualify. The fact that the racers are wingless, the tight confines of the track, plus the close to the track seating offers the fans a great view of a whole season's worth of hissy fits. Not to mention, there is 4 other types of race courses set up in the massive multi-building structure. Keith Barnes takes the wildest micro spill. In an event known for almost impossible passing, Patrick Beeler, number 44 from Bath, Pennsylvania, completes a winning charge from 12th starting spot by working first underneath pole sitter Rick Brem on the 9th of the 15 laps. It's Patrick's first time at Motorama. Brem finished second, with Kevin Nouse third. March 3rd. Invader Rodney Duncan will play a part, as will Dave Ely, new driver of the Weichert car, and Jeff Rohrbaugh. Lincoln opens the Central Pennsylvania season in fine form with 28 sprinters pitside for the Icebreaker 30. Dave Ely. To say the perpetual Lincoln point leader Fred Raymer starts 12th here every week is an exaggeration. For example, during the first 3 shows of the season, the top 12 qualifiers from heats draw for the first 12 starting spots. With Raymer starting on the front row, many observers, including the announcer, assumed the race was to be wired and turned their attention mid-pack, thus nearly missing the 3-lap tussle for first Fast Freddy had with York's Jeff Rohrbaugh in the similarly colored number 3. continue to battle for third. Lap 4 would be one of the longest laps of the season. On the restart, following a spin, Rohrbach crossed up, and Chris Ash is relieved that his traditional early season Lincoln flip is over with, and a mild one. The next start made it to turn 3, where Rodney Duncan found cement. The third lap 4 flip was the big one, as Dave Ely junks the Weichert car after contact with Keith Kaufman on the front stretch. Dave heads off towards Kaufman's racer, but Pop discourages the exchange of pleasantries. The Waynesboro native would later take a ride to the hospital for a checkup. The still frame catches the ferocity of the accident. The race finally progresses, with Rohrbach still closely following the leading number 77 until lap 17, when a spinning Bob Beitelman stops at the wrong place. Jeff and Bob are both out for the day. Lance DeWeese, who started 7th, is second on the restart, but can do no more with Raymer than Rohrbach did. Donnie Kreitz finished third. Fast Freddie just turned 43. Nicky Young is among 33 sprint cars as we're right back at Lincoln on March 10th. Once again, track prepper Fred Putney has the track surface in great shape. Nicky Young, the day's only flipper, will get right back into action. Once again, Fast Freddie, who always represents the line of disenfranchisement at Lincoln, draws the front row. Greg Hudnett finished second with DeWeese third.
You know, glad to see everybody come out. It's a little bit cold, but we're very fortunate, like I've said before, to have a hearty group of fans like we do. You know, without them, I'd have to get a real job.
Williams Grove, March 11th. Wind and sun cook up another tricky track surface for 36 sprinters. Kurt Michael will return to competition later after getting a bit too far sideways. Josh Wells is out for the day after his heat race spill. Lance DeWeese, 88, leads the feature for 17 laps, but here comes Donnie Kreitz. Donnie the Slickmeister from Sinking Spring takes the first position in his blue number 69. A close call as Todd Schaeffer loses power on the back chute. Kreitz is once again the all-time feature winner here at the Grove with 45. Fred Raymer moved up for a second place finish over DeWeese.
Had him covered today, buddy.
Yeah, it's hard for me to even mess that one up. Davey had that car so good. I'll tell you the truth. We were so messed up before the race started. Between me and him, you know, we didn't know what tires we wanted to put on, and shocks and bars and gear and everything. Everything was just a guess, and I'll tell you what, he hit it really good because the car was really nice.
37 358 sprints open their season today at the Grove. Hard charger Kevin Welsh is from Far Hills, New Jersey. High winds might have pressed Kevin a little too low in warm-ups as the number 18 has considerable damage after bumping a tire barrier.
As time permits. 8 laps, 4 to qualify.
Joe Hill gets crossed up on the start during qualifying. The first 12 qualifiers from heats drew for the top 12 starting spots. We call the line of disenfranchisement at 12. Adrian Schaeffer, 21, takes first from fellow micro-graduate Alan Crimes, number 87, on the 4th lap. Another past micro star is Corey Haas. Not to mention Eric Stamball. Harrisburg's Chad Layton started back in 19th, but yellows have helped the number U1 toward the front.
As they head into 3, Layton makes a bid on the outside. Can he pull it off? Yes, we have a new leader. It is Chad Layton in the U1.
Another near the front tangle leaves Jake Rodabaugh on his side before Chad joins Dale Blaney as the two drivers we've seen win from behind the line of disenfranchisement so far this year. Dale Hemmicker finished second with Adrian Schaeffer third. The winter racing season weather is favoring Sundays now, as we join 32 sprinters right back at Williams Grove on March 18th. Todd Hester grabs the feature lead.
Todd Hester into the lead at the start of the 7M. Brooke Lively challenging Lance for the runner-up spot as they charge into turn number 1.
Fred Raymer is one of very few drivers trying to pass on the sun-dried, wind-blown one-groove surface. Freddie will have to go to the rear, while Donnie Kreitz is out of action.
Lance Deweese makes a bid on the bottom, heading into turn number 1. Deweese drives underneath Todd Hester and takes the lead. Lance Deweese has grabbed the lead in the 88H.
As Lance goes on to the win, Raymer's still at it. It's a rare flipping fast Freddie after just perhaps annoying Kurt Michael.
Deweese on the low side for 3 and 4, protecting his position. Checkered flag will fall over the 88H of Lance Deweese. Todd Hester gets second. Shawn Michael is third.
Lance, what happened on that restart when you were able to get by Todd Hester on the inside?
Well, I think he ran in a little too hard. The problem with running harder tires and when rubber's down on a racetrack like this, when we stop racing on just idle around, a dust settles on top. Well, when the dust settles on top, the cars don't stick as good getting in for a lap. But he ran in there a little too hard and just missed the rubber and just left the door open for me.
Promoter Alan Kreitzer said it over and over again. Silver Spring has not been sold, but the press needed a story, and we'd be lying if we spoke of being any less than terrified ourselves. It's official. The home of the best racing under wings in the country is here to stay, opening the season on March 24th with 55 super sportsmen. John Stoner is the first flip. He'll be back to win next week. Craig Morrow in the white number 6 leads the feature over Pat Cannon in the 5. No, make that Leroy Martin, number 66. With the race about 1/3 in the books, Martin becomes the new leader. But late in the race, it's 22-year-old Jerseyite Pat Cannon moving into first via the racy cushion. After the first lap red for Stoner's flip, the race restarted to go non-stop. Timed at 7 minutes, 22 seconds. Martin held on to second, with Frankie Herr finishing third. Here's York College student Pat with his girlfriend in the Silver Spring Victory Lane. March 24th, the coldest race of the season draws 27 410 sprints to Lincoln. Trouble on the start of the feature flips Greg Hodnett and Brooke Lively. A close-up of Hodnett's spill. A third view shows it's a triple, as Glendon Forsythe rides a tire and crashes against the rail. The number 32 appears to have the most damage, but a better day is just ahead for the Lively team. Fast Freddie Raymer in the Hamilton 77 drew the third starting spot. Here the 29 of Dave Ely and the red number 3 of Jeff Rohrbal try to hold off the Lincoln Master, but this won't take long. Tonight, Raymer becomes the winningest sprint car driver in circuit history with his 260th win, surpassing Steve Smith. The 25-lap feature is also a new Lincoln track record at 6 minutes, 17 seconds. Chris Hayes came from 14th to finish second, with Ely third. Fred, you get to do what you like to do best next week, start 12th.
I'll tell you, it's got to be more fun to watch. It's no fun winning a race off the front, but it pays the bills, and you sure couldn't turn it down. But it'll be a little different next week. We'll just have to sit up and see a little harder.
34 358 sprints are at Lincoln and put on the race of the year so far. Chad Layton, U1, and Billy Dietrich, number 8, swapped the first position several times.
Briefly, but Chad Layton reclaims it. Now the the backstretch. Billy Dietrich makes another move at 3 and 4, and he's got it at the flagstone.
On lap 7, TJ Stutz becomes the new leader with an inside pass of Billy D. The number 8 comes back, but Stutz will open a small lead.
Dietrich trying to reclaim it, and he does down the backstretch. Billy Dietrich, TJ Stutz, and Stutz has the lead again. Late third, Hammaker fourth, and it's a spot for the
Now Dale Hammaker in the red 66 moves into second, past Dietrich.
Stutz, your leader. Hammaker second, Dietrich third.
Lap 16, Stutz suddenly bobbles in lap traffic as Hammaker moves past. But look outside as Dietrich finds the cushion and launches unnoticed by many into first, past both Stutz and Hammaker. Billy picks up his first Lincoln win despite bouncing off the rail on the final lap.
Sometimes a guy like Dale Hammaker goes by, you get a little bit intimidated. He looked real strong, looked like to be his race, but you never gave up.
Nah, I knew Stutz was strong and Dale was strong, and they drove by me, and I thought I was racing for third, and they just got bottled up there on the bottom, and we were lucky to get by on the outside.
Billy, you've been getting better and better. What a way to start the season.
Hell yeah.
28 sprints are at Williams Grove on March 25th.
Green is out. Wadley into the lead off 4. Kurt Michael and Mark Smith follow. Greg Hodnett up to 4th.
Mike Eardley bounces through turn 1. York Springs 41-year-old Brooke Wadley, number 32, drew the pole and leads every lap for his first ever Williams Grove win. Greg Hodnett second with Mark Smith third.
Brooke, you've been trying so hard for so many years here. I think everybody had to be pulling for you, and you just didn't slip up. I mean, it's just got to be a great feeling right now. Can you put it into words?
I really don't know how to express it, except, you know, this crew we got, we've been changing crews year to year, guys going, guys coming. I think this crew's really going to stick behind us. My son, I mean, he just works his little butt off. I mean, we destroyed a car last night. Went home, built this thing, and we didn't like this car early, but boy, she sure worked good today.
36 super sportsmen are on the card today at Williams Grove. One less here as Mark Smith finds steel in warm-ups. The racing on a slick one-groove surface took place before another sparse winter weather crowd. Brian Rupp has his problems, finally winding up upside down during heat race competition. The narrow track did allow one lead pass in the sportsman feature as Donnie Beaver, number 10 from Enola, slips under early leader Russ Mitten on the 10th lap. Mitten soon dropped to the pits. Howie Locke wound up second with Jim Shuttlesworth third.
What's going through your mind, slick racetrack like this? Just kind of keep the course straight and don't make a mistake?
Yeah, just smooth on throttle, smooth off. It's like being down here at Super Groove on that go-karts. The smoother you can be, the better off you are.
March 30th. Arctic conditions continue, but the season opener is on at Path Valley, featuring a full field of scrambling micro sprints. A close finish. That's Blaine Heimbach in the white number 1, barely holding off Jim Callahan for the win. While the racing didn't begin until March 31st, the Port Royal Speedway actually got a good start on the new season back in January at the big motorsports show in Philadelphia. The friendly crew won the coveted first place award with their booth featuring 3 full sprint cars plus 1 carved out of butter. Congratulations to Port Royal, and someone break out the corn in the cob. The outdoor season opens in anticipation of the new grandstands, which are running late. Oh well, when you race in the winter, you usually don't need many seats. So the show goes on with the fans availing the infield and bleachers. 24 sprints in the pits. Alan Cole in the black 17 leads on the original start. But we'll need a complete restart as a tango leaves Dave Ely on his noggin. This time Mike Wagner is fastest, but Kyle Sauter is visiting from Ohio in preparation for the upcoming Woo 2 show. Kyle learns where the wall is. Evasive action flips rookie Kyle Gnu, who took a trip to the hospital for a checkup, but everyone is okay. After one more restart, side-by-side racing takes another hit as the green is thrown on a single file field despite no laps recorded. Alan Cole is back in front. Mike Wagner eventually pulled into the pits, and it's Lynn Thompson, number 10, putting the late race heat on our leader. But Alan Cole from Bloomsburg's the 139th driver to win a sprint car feature at the port. Fred Raymer finished third.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but around lap 15, it sounded like you developed motor problems.
I believe we broke a rocker arm.
Drove well over 10 laps with a souring motor. Lap traffic played a role in this one.
Lap traffic hurt me because once the motor started missing, I couldn't get up above the cushion and keep the tires turning, so I had to be a little more careful.
Up Route 35 to Selinsgrove, where the 358's debut is the Marquee Division, 29 cars strong. 21-year-old T.J. Stutz in the white 11 takes first from Billy Dietrich en route to the historic win. Dietrich's run ended with mechanical problems. Greg Libby wound up second with Todd Reed third.
How's it feel to get a win at Selinsgrove Speedway? This track's been around for a long time.
Yeah, especially on opening day. We usually don't go real good at the beginning of the year, and my cousins won a lot of races here, and I just am glad that I can finally do it.
And your cousin is?
Todd Schaeffer.
Hey, you looked awfully fast out there tonight. Billy Dietrich looked fast, too, and then you caught him about the halfway point and made a heck of a pass down there on the bottom of turn number 1.
Yeah, last week at Lincoln, I should have won that, and I screwed up a little bit there in lap traffic. I wasn't going to let her happen this week, and Dietrich won off of that one. I wasn't going to let him do it again.
Hey, the track looked pretty smooth and fast out there tonight. You guys were really getting around.
Yeah, if it's like this every week, it's going to be a lot of fun. I like these wet tracks. It's a little rough, but that makes you gas her a little more.
Hey, your cousin likes them that way.
Yeah, I mean, you tear them up every now and then that way, but it's fun.
Meanwhile, down at Lincoln, we have a 29-car field of 410s. Trevor Lewis is okay. When Fred Raymer doesn't win here, it's news. Tonight, Lance DeWeese, number 88, comes from 10th starting spot to take the lead from the number 17 of Nicky Young on the 17th lap. Chris Ace would move up to second with Young third and Raymer finishing fifth. The first night of Lincoln Points handicapping sure helped make things interesting. Williams Grove, Mike Cragen, and Nate Snyder will both have a great April Fool's Day here among the 40-car field of 358s. Chad Layton begins the steel bending and warm-ups. Cragen's a little fancier about it. Billy Dietrich almost saved it. Mark Richard gets into turn 3 a little too hot, and Nate Snyder is at the wrong place. Nate was checked out at Holy Spirit. T.J. Stutz, number 11, wants 2 wins this weekend, but Mark Richard is closing in.
Stutz, Richard, and Stamball running the same high groove. Richard closing fast, drops to the bottom in 3, looking for the lead. Slides out ahead of Stutz. T.J. tries the low side. Richard leads with 2 laps remaining.
Eric Stamball finished third as Mark's hard on himself on the front stretch.
I got to honestly say, as a veteran in this division, what I did to Nate Snyder down here this afternoon in that heat race, I can't feel any worse than what I do sending that poor boy to the hospital. It's one of them deals, you got to qualify in that top 12. If you don't make the invert. And you don't really stand that big of a chance. Not very often Chad Layton's going to do that again, what he did there the last time. We were just racing so hard, so close. I flat out screwed up.
Up and coming Jay Reichert drives the red number 15 among 29 410s Groveside today. Warm-ups claim another victim. Jeff Rohrball, number 3, and Dave Ely battle for the feature lead.
Dave Ely makes a bid on the backstretch and drives by the number 3. Ely goes goes back to the bottom. Rohrbaugh wants the lead back off 4. Ely's got it. Trouble in turn number 1.
A lap 5 home run stars Jeremy Campbell, here all the way from Michigan. Greg Hodnett also flipped over in the crash. 17-year-old Jeremy manages a smile. That one is worth a freeze frame. The race is restarted with Rohrbaugh in front, but Chris Ace, number 17, is on a tear from his 10th starting spot.
Ace coming after him. Chris on the high side in turn number 4. Rohrbaugh leads it. Chris Ace is right there. Chris goes to the top. Drives around Rohrbaugh and takes the lead. Chris Ace in the 17 out in front.
Chris's first win of the season came over Keith Kaufman and Ely.
Chris, we're going to give you a checker flag from Bulls of Newchester. Remember your first win of the season at Williams Grove. You really had this thing hooked up around the outside this afternoon.
Boy, we sure did. I felt real good at the beginning. Had that red. We changed a few shocks, and the car got even better. I can't say enough about these guys. They do a hell of a job. We've been real fast. Haven't won any races, but our time's coming.
Williams Grove resumes its familiar Friday night activity on April 6th. 27 sprints on hand. Impressive Rick Lafferty in the Black Zero wrestles the first lap feature lead away from Troy Weitzel. We'll see more of Mark Smith later tonight. Kurt Michael in the Walt Dyer Masonry 461 is in second and on his way to his first win of the season.
Kurt Michael after the New Jersey driver in turn number 3. Michael's to the bottom. Slides up in front of Lafferty and takes the lead. Kurt Michael has taken the lead in the 461.
The Ocean View, Delaware driver picked up $3,000 for his victory over Jeff Rohrbaugh and Fred Raymond.
Last time I won here, I accidentally said I made it look good. Well, these guys made it look good. I tell you what, we worked hard for this front row position. We really stunk in the beginning of the year. We'll take this win no matter how we got it.
Showing steady improvement in the 461, this team with a big history behind it and a good group of pit crew members behind you.
Yeah, I tell you what, Alan, Clint, Jamie, Larry, Donnie, all those guys, I can't thank them enough for giving me a chance in this car. Marsha made it tonight. I'm glad she's here to see this. She always told me if I didn't keep it in front and if I lost, she's going to kick my butt. So I think I got another week so I don't get my butt kicked.
37 super sportsmen crank it up at the Grove tonight. When Mark Smith, 25, starts in the second row here, dominance is predictable.
Mark Smith, you had 2 views of this racetrack tonight, and I'm betting the one here looks a lot better.
Yeah, I didn't like the first view. That wasn't too good, but running 2 divisions gets pretty tough every now and then when you have problems, but everything worked out somehow. We ended up winning one and crashed in another, but we had a good night.
April 7th. Despite very wet conditions, the show goes on with 30 358 sprints at Selinsgrove in front of a surprisingly good crowd. Harrisburg's Chad Layton in the U1 is the first feature leader. Troy Long loses his steering. Tim Higgins was running second until a lap car moved up a little in front of Tim's left front tire. The final red is for Matt Boland in the Tiger car and Babe Mader, who get together at the end of the back chute. Matt's a low-budget operator, but fortunately the 22 is not damaged as bad as it could have been, and Matt will soon be back. Layton negotiates lap traffic to his second win of the season over Greg Livey and Billy Dietrich.
Chad, congratulations. A heck of a drive out there. You led every lap, but you got to work for that one out there.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank the promoters, yourself, the rest of these people out here for giving us a chance to be the main show. All these fans that come out and watch us, thanks a lot, for watching us. And my crew, guys work real hard. We had a little rough one last week, worked all week real hard. Guys are there every night. My father, the car owner, puts a lot of money into for us to run up front. Hoosier Tires working real well. Maxim Chassis. Donna Racing Engines, everything's there. Can't say enough about it.
And on Sunday, a full field of Bridgeport limited sprints cut loose on the big New Jersey 5/8 mile before this crash, plus rain, and the racing for today. Defending champ Steve Fleetwood and Chip Brown in yellow are okay. Friday, April 13th, bad luck awaits Thomasville's Josh Wells, who was among 34 410 sprint cars on hand for Williams Grove's 6,000 to win early bird championship.
Trouble on the front stretch. Josh Wells climbs a wheel and flips up the front stretch.
Time trials start the fastest cars up front, and the number 12 of Greg Hodnett leads all 30 laps. Fred Raymer finished second with Shawn Michael third.
Fred, Lance, Chris, Donnie, I tell you what, Kaufman, these guys are good. I mean, if anybody ever says anything else, I'm telling you, they're the best in the business, and I'm very proud to be standing up here right now with that kind of competition.
April 14th, 53 super sportsmen are at Silver Spring. Bruno Capillari's parking space next to this tow truck is interesting. Bruno was running mid-pack in his heat race before being blocked by a sideways John Garman. Early season bad luck starts one of the big dogs near the front tonight. Carmen Perigo in the Hillegas Trucking number 2 makes the 2-hour tow from Stoystown to race weekly at the Springs. Carmen completes his winning charge from 5th with this pass of Ray Myers. It's Perigo's first one of the season, probably not his last, but he'll be starting back in the pack now. Jim Shuttlesworth finished second with Danny Hager third. Over at Lincoln, Johnny Mackison, 65, takes the lead from the white car of Billy Sims. Lap 17, Freddie Raymer, 77, makes it 5 out of 6 for the season. Mackison finished second with Chris Ace third. Special visitors tonight include the Easter Bunny, along with 22 ARDC Midgets, who are opening their 62nd season. Jerry Cobbs' long tow from South Carolina offered him about 15 seconds of racing before he wound up parked on the rail. Ryan Kopelar's number 49 moves ahead of a fast pack, including Steve Craig, Walt Steerley, and Ed Steinley. As Kopelar's continues to lead, Steinley and Steerley make contact while racing for second. Ray Bull, number 1, makes a strong move up the inside while Steerley's race is over. 31-year-old Bull from Bloomsburg takes the lead from Kopelar's, who is beginning to sputter and will soon head for the pits. Good racing never stops, though, as Steinley catches the leader but can't quite get by. Ray is ARDC's defending champion. Jim Jackson survived to finish third. April 14th, 30 sprinters are at Port Royal as we say hello to Jim Campbell. Keith Kaufman, number 7, and Lenny Thompson, number 10, exchanged the lead over and over again in another Central PA Classic. The last lap, Thompson leads, but here comes Port Royal's favorite son. After Kaufman squeaks out the win, Thompson appears to take out his frustration on the car of Sean Stidful. It's Keith Kaufman's 101st career win here at the Port. Todd Schaeffer finished third. Williams Grove, April 20th. Casey Kane from Washington State won't get his second career Grove win tonight. 30-410s pit side.
Into the lead, Keith Kaufman. Trouble on the front stretch. Casey Kane turning over.
Points Handicapping presents the best winged 410 racing in the country every Friday night here. Sealands Grove's Troy Weitzel, number 17, becomes the second feature leader, moving ahead of Josh Wells. Kyle Sauter brings out the red. The hot shots are coming through, headed by Shawn Michael, who started 8th and now leads on lap 9. Shawn will soon be joined at the front by Fred Raymer, 77, and Lance DeWeese, 88, who started 12th and 11th respectively. Take it, Bruce.
Here comes Lance Lance on the low side to challenge Raymer. 3 cars running under a blanket on lap 21. Raymer going for the lead. Michael turns the car back under Raymer. Takes the lead back. Michael and Raymer race hard into turn number 1. Michael down low. Raymer up high. Shawn Michael leads it on the backstretch. Raymer coming after him into turn number 3. Michael ducks to the low side to hold off Raymer's bid. We've got 3 laps remaining. Michael, Raymer, and DeWeese under a blanket with 3 laps to go. Michael drives through the middle. Raymer on the outside. Nearly contact on the backstretch. Shawn Michaels got the lead. Raymer's there. Lance is third. Lance on the low side now tries to duck under Raymer with 2 laps left. Lance DeWeese has taken second. Raymer goes to the outside and around Michael for the lead. Raymer's got the lead. DeWeese now second, Michael third. Fred Raymer hard into turn number 4. White flag will fall. Raymer's got the lead. DeWeese is second. Into turn number 1 they go. Raymer to the low side. DeWeese follows him through. Lance DeWeese after him on the backstretch takes the lead. Lance DeWeese drives by Raymer on the backstretch. Final corner. Here comes Raymer on the outside. Lance on the rail. Checkered flag in sight. Lance DeWeese has won the feature at Williams Grove. Raymer second. Michael third.
I tell you what, you don't see no better racing than what we have here in Pennsylvania. I know there's been people on the internet supposedly been talking about how good California racing is and all that, but all I know is this is the only place in the country that don't run time trials weekly and put the fast guys in the back, and that's what it's all about, putting a show on for your fans.
41 358 sprints really packed the pits here at the Grove tonight. Tracy Templin is the only rollover. Just up from the micros and at speed already is Mike Miller, number 1, who gives up the lead to Rusty Presley, number 5, on lap 3. Mark Richard crashes hard with the yellow car of Jeremy Gardner. A late race restart erases Presley's large lead. Billy Dietrich, number 8, will take advantage.
Looking for the lead. Presley around the outside, side by side down the back stretch and under the bridge. Into turn number 3 they go. Dietrich low, Presley high. Off 4. Who's it going to be at the line? 17 down. Presley, Dietrich. Billy D is taking the lead.
Billy Johns finishes third.
First win at Williams Grove. How's that feel?
Feels great. I've been here before with Dad, but I never, it's first time myself, and I don't know, this is great.
Silver Spring, April 21st. Close Super Sportsman feature racing challenges Pat Cannon and Steve Wilbur to disengage. Carmen Perigo is out for the night. The race ended for Pat a couple of laps later. Bill Schaeffer in the red number 07 leads 20 of the 25 laps. Russ Mitten in the white Ron Janey number 55 and Howie Locke 77 have been looking for a way around Bill, with Russ making the winning move on the outside. Locke will finish second over Schaeffer. That's our old friend Ted Wrights talking to Russ after his 5th career spring win.
What a great show. The competition here is unbelievable. I'm just getting used to this. This is incredible.
Yeah, you're new here. I don't even know who you are, but it's tough here every week. 53 cars here tonight. And it's just tough qualifying, let alone getting up front in the feature. It's just.
Well, I really enjoyed watching you work the top side of the speedway. You were exciting out there. I hope you have a lot more. That was a great run tonight, Russ.
Oh, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
ARDC brings a field of 21 midgets to the spring tonight. Chris Morway tags a spun Steve Craig and flips. It's a 3-way race for first as Ray Bull, number 1, moves to the point over Randy Mosteller, 21, and Brian Kobolars. Good racing continues with Kobolars, number 49, moving into second. Kovalars continued to challenge the leader until bouncing in the cushion with 2 laps to go, allowing 11th place starter Bull to make it 3 out of 3 in ARDC. Kovalars and Mosteller followed.
First of all, though, I'd like to say thank you to Silver Springs and all you people for letting the ARDC Midgets come here. On behalf of the Midgets, I can tell you this is one of my favorite places to run, and I really appreciate everybody letting us run.
Meanwhile, over at Lincoln, 33 358 sprinters are mixing it up. Mark Zellers tries the high group.
Trouble between 1 and 2.
Rick Horn in the red 01 will lose this lead position battle very decidedly to the 88 of 9th place starter Scott Osherman on the 13th lap.
Run each other hard into turn number 3. We've got a 3-way battle for the lead. Contact on the front stretch. Trouble on the front stretch. Rick Horn turning over.
Rick walks away from a very sudden stop. More bad luck on the 13th lap. Restart for Joe Will.
Trouble in turn 1.
It's Osherman over Eric Stamball and Brian Eichelberger at the line.
Flag is out for Scotty Osherman. Eric Stamball will finish second.
Yeah, it was real tough. I mean, I just want to apologize to Rick. I mean, it was a racing accident, and I'm very sorry. Him and I are very good friends, and I just want him to understand that. Feels real good. I won back here quite a few years ago in the sportsman division with my own car, and it's been quite a while, and this is a long time coming.
Glendon Forsyth leads the 23 410 sprints until that 13th lap, when this wheelie results in front end damage. The new leader's the 30 of Darren Ace, with you-know-who also slipping past the struggling 94.
Darren Ace goes by Forsyth. We have a new leader. Darren Ace racing as hard as he can. He's got Raymer right behind him. We've got 16 laps down. Raymer on the outside makes a bid on the backstretch.
Lap 17, 12th place starter Fred Raymer, 77, gets it done, only to have the pass negated when Forsyth's decision to keep racing costs him a wing. Fast Freddy gets the job done again. P.J. Chesson finished 3rd.
Raymer to the lead off 4. He'll lead lap number 17.
Sundays are saved, for 2 weeks at least, when Linda's decides to make up some early season rainouts. It's April 22nd. Many of the sprint car stars of tomorrow are in the micro sprints now. Veteran and favorite Mike Dicely flips in Frog Hollow. With points handicapping still a week away, another favorite, Randy West, started on the pole and leads every lap, as well he should. Jim Callahan finished 2nd, with Pete Skias 3rd. The World of Outlaw Gumout Support Series rolls into Williams Grove on April 27th. Kyle Sauter is among the 10 invaders helping make for a strong 36-car field. The feature stars are the same as last week, although they started right up front this week from time trials. Lance DeWeese, 88, takes first from Shawn Michael, number 1, but here comes the red 77. Kyle Sauter is on his head for the 3rd time in his 3 appearances this year on the circuit. Here's a quick review of the Buckeye Staters' own highlight reel. Back to our race, as DeWeese exchanges first with Fred Raymer one more time before Fast Freddy took control. Donnie Kreitz moved up to finish 3rd.
Yeah, it feels good. We've been pretty close to fast here. Last week was probably the best race I ever lost. I mean, that was the best race. I sure didn't want to lose. Lance did a heck of a job. He's really running good this year. But I tell you, I pride myself on having a sense of awareness of what's going on the track. In the last 2 laps last week, I couldn't tell you even what track I was at.
April 28th. We know what track we're at. All 3 features would feature last lap passes for the lead. Yes, it's Silver Spring. Defending late model champ Jason Covert, number 1, makes a last turn winning move past Scott McCann. Defending street stock champ Scott Dellinger is not quite as clean about it as he bonsais Tim Fetter.
Hager, Kerr, Beaver, Cannon,
The sportsman will face a last lap restart. Frankie Herr, number 3, will pick up his first win on the year after starting 16th. Take it, Kurt.
Frankie Herr shot out of the cannon. He goes on the outside, and here he comes. Can Hager now take it down low? It looks like it's going to be Frankie Herr with the win.
Carmen Perigo finished second with Danny Hager a close third. Meanwhile, over at Lincoln, 34 358 sprints put the hammer down.
On the front stretch. 3 cars going over.
A closer look at the pileup that left Eric Pattison, Ronnie Orwig, and Chad Wolf a bit shaken. Mike Cragen was the evening's only other flip victim. Doug Esch is back, driving the Lamy-owned number 88, beating out Tim Hershey 56 for his first feature win of the season. Jake Rodabaugh finished third.
You had a good race up front for a while. You were actually in second for about half a lap.
Yeah, I guarantee you. I like racing with him, but he wasn't going to beat me on that one.
Tim deserves a lot of credit. He had a good run. There's a lot of good cars in this division. Great car count here at Lincoln.
Yeah, I tell you, in the heat race, some of those guys went blowing by me. I'm like, geez, where'd they come from? These guys really know how to race. Eric Stanball and Corey Haas and Tim Hershey, those guys are really on the mark, and to beat them, you got to step up to the plate.
Fred Raymer, 77, makes it 7 out of 8 here at Lincoln, coming from 11th place starting spot to make the winning pass of Josh Wells. Steve Siegel moved into second at the end with Wells third. At the port, the gum outfield includes Texan Ron Laney, who had a feature win 1 year ago, stolen back from him by a tire rule technicality. Alan Cole had a different sort of tire problem tonight. Now Ron Laney catches a tire. Time trial started favorites Keith Kaufman, number 7, and Lance DeWeese in the Haas Furniture number 88 on the front row. That's most of the race right there. Kaufman put up a good fight, but the 30-lap $5,000 to win feature will go to Lance DeWeese. Kaufman ran a close second with Todd Schaeffer an easy third. Mike Goodman was the only gummy bear to crack the top 10 in the 2-race swing with his 6th place finish tonight at the port. Lance's rumored switch to Lincoln has not materialized as he poses with Miss Port Royal after his 73rd career sprint car win, his first of the year here. April 29th, Linda's micro action begins with a spill by Dan Boyer. Dan's brother Mike led the feature until lap 4 when micro superstar Mike Dicely, 44, moves past on his way to his first Linda's win of the season. Jake Mays moved up to second, Steve Buckwalter third, with Boyer hanging in for fourth. While the 270cc micro sprints continue to top the billings, the 600cc class is gaining popularity and competitor support. Lucas Wolf has his number 5 painted just like his daddy's first racer over 20 years ago as he maneuvers through the field to take first from Bob Brubaker on the 14th lap. Here's the teenager with his parents, Randy and Gail, after his second feature win of the weekend. A chip off the old block, as they say. May 4th, 26 sprints plus an extra high 4th turn cushion entertain at Williams Grove. Mark Smith is on his head for the 3rd time this season here. Darren Aish and the Leach 30 have joined the big blocks this year. There goes Len Thompson just before the grader was summoned. Fred Raymer took some detours on his way to an 8th place feature finish. Josh Wells also flipped on the Concy start. Feature time. James Chesson from Far Hills, New Jersey leads at the start, as he will every lap. We watch as James first holds off the white 88 of Todd Schaeffer, who gained ground in lap traffic, and then a late race charge by the yellow 88 of Lance DeWeese.
Chesson slides up in front of the lap cars. Lance DeWeese takes second from Schaeffer with 1 lap left. Last lap, Chesson looking for his first win of the season. DeWeese blocked by traffic. Chesson on the outside. DeWeese coming after him. James Chesson will win it. DeWeese a close second.
Were you watching the scoreboard? Did you know who was behind you?
I saw an 88 there, but I wasn't sure Lance, Todd, one or the other. You know, it doesn't really matter, though, as long as you're up front.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't have a rear-view mirror. The white 88 was there for the entire race, but the yellow 88 was coming real fast. He was right there at the end.
Yeah, I thought they were coming, but, you know, hey, you just hold on and hope for the best.
And that's what 35 358 sprints are doing, as Cars opens its season at Silver Spring on May 5th. The fast way around is either the top or the bottom, as Billy Dietrich, number 8, and Jake Rodabaugh, 4, both work past early race leader Rusty Presley, 5, who's running the middle. Dietrich and Rodabaugh continue their epic battle of racing line extremes on the slick surface. Billy is above lap traffic, but after a late race caution, a clear track appears to be allowing Rodabaugh's short way around to pay dividends. Billy gets a bite off the wall to lead down the back before getting bit by the wall in turn 3. Billy holds on to second behind Jake the Snake, with Rich Eichelberger third.
So is this a little easier than running the Sportsman here? Compare that to car sprints versus the Sportsman.
Nothing's ever easy. You know, Bill Dietrich kept battling back there, and Bill and I are pretty good friends. I knew he'd race clean, and it was fun. It was fun to race with him, and I enjoy racing with all the limited guys. It's a blast. I got to thank you, Kirk, and WIOO for paying my way in tonight. I told you if you paid my way in, I'd get victory lane, I'd say your name, so thank you.
56 Super Sportsmen are in search of Silver Spring glory tonight. The number 35 of Charlie Sorokach spins going into turn 1 after trying to get past Jerry Wolf. If at first you don't succeed, another look at the second failed attempt into turn 1 as Sorokach sort of catches a tire. Feature time. John Garman, number 44, and Bill Heckert bring the field around, with Wild Bill living up to his name. The restart. Tom Haxall from Marysville, number 55, now shares the front row with Garman. Topside Tom leads down the back. And right on under the checker over Rich Eichelberger and Jim Shuttlesworth.
Well, believe it or not, we were up till 4 in the morning last night building this engine. So my crew, I can't even begin to thank them for the sacrifice they made to build this engine. And a new carburetor from Chad Baker, and man, the rest of you seen what happened. It was just an easy ride for me. Start up front.
It definitely was. You got 2 heat wins in a row here, 2 straight weeks, so I guess this was due.
Well, start up front, you know. I paid my dues over the year, so it's nice to enjoy a little gravy now and then.
Speaking of some gravy for a change, in the past, Thunder in the PA Mountains has chronicled the woes of Bill Walkman, who managed to walk away from the biggest flip the last 2 years in a row. So we feel it's only appropriate to include his first feature win, as his white number 2 leads the micro sprints home at Trailway on May 11th.
Race fans, your feature winner tonight, Bill Laufman. Man, the 2X was rocking tonight.
Thank you very much. Long time coming. Whew.
Billy, I tell you, the 2X really flew. You formerly drove 358s. You're wrenching on 358s. Are you going to make it a double this weekend? Are you coming back here on Sunday?
Well, Sagal and Little Jimmy, they're not coming Sunday now, but I'll be here to watch. I got to thank my wife, Rustic Iron, Rocco's Pizza, and Creasy Signs. I mean, they helped me out a good bit. Taking a step down from 358s, I'm still racing. It's a lot of money in 358s, and I had some tough knocks, but we'll come back and we'll pick up the pace here with these guys.
Over at Williams Grove, Sean Keane and Brooke Wadley take their knocks.
It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway. Green flag is out.
Mark Smith sets up a strong move at the feature green.
Mark Smith, working off the bottom, takes the lead.
Smith's number 22 held off heavy pressure from the 7 of Keith Kaufman for most of the first 20 laps. Here, the man from Mifflintown gets past on the backstretch. But the 88 of Lance DeWeese is the car on the move. Here, the 12th place starter slips past 13th place starter Fred Raymer, 77, into third. But coming around with 3 laps to go, Lance's car appears to lose power and drops back out of contention. Not quite. DeWeese has been known to turn into Superman, and here we go. 1 lap later, with 2 laps to go, the 88 begins a winning charge that'll stun the crowd and at least 3 of his fellow drivers. First, under a relatively slow, fast Freddie Raymer. And now Mark Smith in nearly the same swoop. It takes a little longer to clean off Kaufman, but Lance gets the job done with half a lap to go. With 45 Grove wins, Lance is tied with Raymer and Donnie Kreitz for the all-time record.
Well, Lance, you're going to have to explain that one. What happened?
Well, I tell you what, I got by Freddie there, and going up the backstretch, I pulled up in the, up against the fence, and I thought he actually was hooked on my rear bumper about 3/4 way up. The car just died down. I thought, he just got a run and kind of hit me and locked the car down. And I went in the corner and the thing just shut off, and it acted like it was running itself out of fuel. And I knew we had enough fuel in it, and I ran a lap. I thought it was blowing up. And I reached down and the shuttle valve worked off on it, and that's what was wrong. Once I got it back on, it was fine after that.
May 12th, 24 sprinters do it Port Royal style. George Culp sweats out spinning in front of heavy traffic before he manages somehow to get the 57 into the safety of the infield. Minor front-end damage is enough to end George's night. Mike Early leads the feature for 12 laps. The caution for a disoriented Joe Deal erased Mike's fair-sized lead. Todd Hester, number 7, has taken over the top spot, but here comes 12th place starter Fayetteville's Lance DeWeese. The Harris Furniture Sprinter takes first on the 18th lap. Lance's second win of the weekend is his second of the year at the Port and his 74th career here. Todd Hester is second with Sean Keane third. Early held on for 5th. Meanwhile, over in Jersey, a banner year for United Racing Club is in progress with 41 360 sprinters signed in at New Egypt. The fans in Turn 1 appreciate a strong fence. Junior Martin wouldn't have minded it being a little softer. Danny Massey performs a classic. Our old buddy William Bryan runs URC now. He's still Wild Bill. Shawn Michaels started 10th in his first appearance of the year with the club, driving the Palladino 99. This parlayed into the 33-year-old's 21st career URC win as he slips past the 18 of Kevin Welsh with less than 2 laps to go. Mike Hagenbottom finished third. A packed house looked on. Another giant crowd is at Trailway on Mother's Day for the return of full-size sprinters, absent here for 12 years. The management made the most of a very light car count, and the crowd ate up the opportunity to see the sprint drivers with their hands full on the refreshingly tight oval. The bummer was Fast Freddie Raymer on the pole. The Hamilton 77 did have one close call with a lapped car. Greg Hodnett finished second with Steve Siegel third.
Fred, it was a close one.
Yeah, I got together with Glendon a little bit. He didn't know I was out there. And I'll tell you, the track we changed after the heat races, and Moon got the car a lot better, and Richie and the guys did a good job. I got to tell you, to hear the enthusiasm of the people here as fans, it's really neat. We race every night, and it's the same deal, but there's more enthusiasm here tonight from the fans than I've seen in a long time. And again, we really appreciate you guys coming out. Sorry we're short on cars. I don't understand what the other guys are thinking.
The 358s were much racier here at the TW. A thrilling heat race ends for Chad Layton, but he will be back for the feature. And here we go.
Sticking their foot in the throttle, coming up and turn Dietrich and Eichelberger side by side.
This time the 46 called it a night, but our dangling Chad is clearly the crowd favorite of the night. Wave no yellow for Brian Marriott. Big Billy Dietrich, number 8 from nearby Aspers, picks up another of his several wins this season over Rich Eichelberger and Trailway Microstar Kevin Naus. Personally, we hope the sprinters find their way back up the trails real soon. The big crowd agrees. May 17th.
Hi, welcome to Williams Grove Speedway for the World of Outlaw race. I'm Marissa Irvin and I'm here with Dave Blaney's driving experience. Sit back and enjoy the race.
We always considered them the best drivers in racing, although a couple of their recent live TV shows makes us wonder. Mark Smith spins and Brian Paulus's salad car is tossed again. Is this how micro sprints are made? Even the wreckers are challenged tonight at the Grove. Brad Furr in trouble. We learned from TV that great racing has lapped traffic. The fastest cars start in front, heads up from the dash.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is show time at Williams Grove Speedway right now. Kinser into the lead at the start. Schatz right behind him. Lasowski ducks low, Kreitz behind him. Schatz takes the lead. Lasowski goes by Kinser. Kinser spins the 5M.
But even so, the best of the best get in trouble on the first lap. After pole sitter Mark Kinser spun, the field was somehow getting past until Steve Kinser contacted Greg Hodnett, sending him into the bridge. After Greg suddenly stopped in front of Fred Raymer, Fast Freddie threw his 77 sideways, also flipping with minor bridge contact. Greg would set out a couple of nights from soreness. A very lucky Mark Kinser was never touched. The new front row is Danny Lasowski, number 20, and Donnie Schatz in the Parker Store, number 15. It's Donnie from Minot, North Dakota, leading every lap over Lasowski. Posse members Lance DeWeese, Kurt Michael, and Donnie Kreitz followed. Here's Donnie.
I was real concerned about Mark Kinser. You know, I knew if he got out front, we was going to have trouble getting by him. And, you know, I did what I had to do to get in the first corner. I, you know, got past him and something happened there behind us. So we're just glad to be out here.
The Outlaws are a two-night show here. The regular Grove fans are often outnumbered, annoyed, and out drinking by what they call the Outlaw Yuppies. But the visitors buy a lot of tickets. Tonight's live TV deal included a flip by Keith Kaufman before light rain combined with nearly 20 police cars trying to contain an out-of-control party canceled the feature. You didn't get that story on TNN. Lincoln, May 19th. Mike Cragen is the only flip victim in tonight's 30-car 358 sprint field. Another of those micro sprint drivers moving up the limited sprints and straight into victory lane is Chad Trout, number 7. Joe Ilg and Scott Osherman followed. About those micros.
But is there some talent in that division or what?
Yeah, almost all those guys that run consistently, they could do this. I mean, it's just getting a group of guys together that can put in all the hours and having the money to get behind you. I mean, it helps. This is Bill Lockman. This is his motor, and I swapped in my motor for his car, and my motor we swapped, and he won last night. His first one, or last week he won with my car, and I just returned the favor and win with his motor.
The 410s take to another great Lincoln track surface on full steroids. Looks like another win for Fast Freddie Raymer as he comes from 12th place starting spot to catch leader Nicky Young on the 16th lap. Here's the pass. Yawn. That wasn't supposed to happen. The laps are winding down, Freddie. Nicky may have lost the race, but he's the new Lincoln hero. Fast Freddie retires to the doghouse for the evening. It's the Miller Chevrolet number 17 of Chris Aish in the right place for his first Lincoln win of the year. Bobby Weaver finished second with Darren Aish third.
Well, you were close enough that I was watching you when they got together to see if you got through. You were close enough to the front.
Boy, you know, so many times you have that scenario and you think, boy, if them two guys get together, I'll be sitting right in the right spot. It worked out that way for us tonight. It's kind of a shame for Nicky Young. He drove his ass off tonight.
As will 19-year-old Jerseyite Steve Cannon, number 23, as he picks up his first Silver Spring win and second career Super Sportsman win. Steve is a brother to fellow racer Pat Cannon, and his father Billy used to race modifieds at Flemington. John Stoner finishes a close second, with J.R. Fry coming from 18th to finish third. 53-car field in the pits. Sticking with the sportsmen, 37 of the self-starting carbureted racers are at Williams Grove on May 25th. Jim Shuttlesworth finds a roadblock. J.R. Fry contacts Steve Wilbur and becomes the roadblock for Ray Myers. As the race nears halfway, Bill Brown in the orange holds a slim lead over the 33 of Ryan Rupp. But here comes Mark Smith, number 25, who started 16th.
Goes to the cushion in 3 and 4. Rupp to the bottom of Brown. Side by side, a photo finish as they cross the line with 9 laps down. Rupp tries the low side, but here comes Smith, makes it 3 wide. Smith drives into the lead.
As the women coo, it's Mark's second Grove win of the season and 10th career. Rupp finishes second with Dave Berkheimer third. 25 410s are on hand, including our old friend from the Empire State, Craig Keel, who has returned to the circuit after several years racing with New York organizations. Craig's Baby Blue Racer leads for 13 laps until McCungy's Len Thompson streaks past on the outside down the front stretch. Len's second career Grove win and 5th sprint car win came after a late race tussle with the 29 of Dave Ely.
We go green. Ely to the bottom, Thompson to the high side. As they race down the backstretch, we've got a new leader. Dave Ely drives in front of the 29. Thompson wants it back. Lynn Thompson drives by him and back into the lead. 22 down, 3 left. Thompson and Ely battle hard into turn number 1. Ely on the low side, Thompson off the cushion. Thompson pulls away on the backstretch. Ely second, Raymer third.
What a show tonight.
I mean, Dave Ely got by. He wanted this one. You know how bad he wanted it. How about that run you made through 3 and 4 to get the lead back?
Well, that was the deal that we were a little sluggish on the starts. The motor was just dragging a little bit, and I knew Dave was quick because he kicked my butt in the heat race. And I just got hung up a little bit on the curb, and I knew I was probably going to have one shot to get it back, and that was a shot. So I hope I gave him room. I mean, Dave races real clean. You know, it's a pleasure to race with him anytime. So I'm glad I beat him.
You gave him room. I want to know if you scared yourself with that move.
Well, like I said, it was a deal that we're going to win it or we ain't. So let's do it now. You got to go.
One of the naturally happiest people we know is Mom Thompson.
I'm not picking up rocks.
May 26th, 30 358 sprints come to Selinsgrove for the Jack Gunn Memorial. Troy Long finds himself in an all-too-familiar position. Greg Libby, 119, leads the feature as things get going. Brian Buckwater has won the last 2 features here, but tonight the MicroStars crew will spend too much time changing tires. The finish will be T.J. Stutz, number 11, over Libby and Joe Whitcomb. Here, the 21-year-old charges through some lap traffic before sounding remarkably mature in victory lane.
How does it feel to win the Jack Gunn Memorial 30 laps? Now, your cousin won this race a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm a few behind him, but hopefully here before I quit my career, I'll have caught up with him.
Did you feel pretty confident in the car tonight? Greg Libby looked real strong there in the first half of the race, and then you got him on that one restart.
Yeah, we were way too tight at the beginning, but we had it figured that way because we knew it was 30 laps and don't win races on the first couple.
Evendale's Rod Straub, 21, might argue with that just a little as he grabs the lead over the 25-car field at Port Royal. With Straub leading, the race went non-stop until lap 19 when Len Thompson spends last night's paycheck on the heavy cushion. Nonetheless, Straubby holds on for his second career Port win over Brooke Weibly and Todd Schaeffer. Here's the checkered flag. Well, he won.
What'd you think when the red flag come out there with 6 laps remaining? I know you probably wanted to go the whole way.
Well, we did. I was sure our driver was going to choke. I never seen the checker. I saw the white flag, and then I thought maybe I saw the Lariver flag. Then I saw 25 laps and thought we won. One thing I'd like to say, I'd like to thank the fans. I know there's not many of them. It wasn't a very good night. But if you could do me one thing, I'd really appreciate it. You fans heading towards Selinsgrove on Route 35, if you could lay on the horn in McAllisterville, Evendale, and Richfield, I'd really appreciate it. This Charlie Garrett engine is about 6 years old, but it hits hard yet. I know the racetrack tonight was heavy. Little guys win when it's heavy. Mitch used to say if you start up front, you should finish up front, so that's what we did tonight.
Over at Lincoln, Nicky Young, 17, and Glendon Forsyth, 07, lead the 21-car field as they battle for their first feature win. Give the edge to Nicky. Fast Freddy's not on the radar tonight, but here comes the singer, number 66, is Steve Siegel. The youthful appearing veteran slipped past Nicky on the 24th of the 30-lap Memorial Weekend Championship. It's Siegel's second win of the season here. Young and Forsyth followed. Despite 5 extra laps, Raymer could only garner a 7th.
Nicky's been tough. I mean, you know, he ran Fred tough last week, and he run me awful tough tonight. I mean, I'm whipped. I mean, the track was fast. That played me out, and Nicky played me out. So, I mean, it was a good race. I'm happy, and it's fun.
May 28th. Western PA is the land of racetracks. Every hill and valley seems to have its own speedway, from asphalt behemoths like Jennerstown, Motordrome, and Clearfield, to natural surface gems like Hidden Valley, Thunder Mountain, Challenger, Dog Hollow, Hummingbird, Latrobe, and on and on. We never hear a lot of publicity coming from Marion Center, and frankly, we were not expecting a giant crowd in one of the most exciting late model shows we've ever seen. But a tight, tacky track, a powerhouse 35-car field, and now get this, double file restarts, all combined to make us very glad we made the 4-hour trip. On one of the feature restarts, Dave Scott got a little bit too much bite and biked his stock car into history. Dave, the same one who also races sprinters, is okay after demonstrating just how high you can toss a dirt late model on a 3rd mile. Early leader Mac Gaston also got upside down during the feature. After starting 20th, the red and yellow number 5 of Mike Blouse had to restart dead last after a second lap tangle. With the help of a racy surface, double file restarts, plus admittedly an abundance of cautions, Mike is challenging Rusty Whitmore for first. Mike pulls ahead, and now Rusty is in too deep. Here's Mike Blouse after one of his many Western PA wins. We don't believe sprint cars have ever raced on top of the Marion Mountain. Are you listening, Duval Dressler? But the micro sprints have found a solid home here. Jimmy Young from Johnstown, who we've seen travel to the Central PA circuit and beat the best, has his way with the full field of micros tonight here at the Marion Center Speedway. '37 358 sprinter at Lincoln on June 2nd. When Daring Dan Dietrich bicycled, his son Billy checked up and took the ride. Billy would come back to finish second in the feature after starting 22nd. Qualifying spills also include Doug Esch and Matt Boland, who puts a hurting on the Tiger car. Lest we forget, Wojciechowski in yellow and Adrian Schaeffer. Lap 12, Kenny 4 in the red 10 leads the feature into lap traffic. But watch the battle for second as contenders Doug Esch, Brian Eichelberger, Gary Gullib, and Tim Hershey are among an unscheduled drivers meeting. East Berlin's Eric Stamball, number 4, comes from the 17th starting spot to win with this pass of 4 soon after the restart. Billy Dietrich finished second with 4 third. Stamball and Dietrich advanced a total of 37 positions.
We found out on Wednesday that our engine was junk. We were doing a rebuild, so I think I called everybody that I knew, and everybody's real nice, and a couple people offered to lend me their engine, and Rich Eichelberger did. So that's Rich's engine in Victory Lane right there, and I can't thank him enough. It's fast. I'm wondering if maybe he wants to sell it. Also, Joe Ilg. He gave me some parts tonight, and he helped me out earlier in the year. And, you know, the racers are all good guys. And it's surprising sometimes when your competitors help you out, but I really appreciate it.
Micro sprint vet Mark Cauldron is among the 25 410 sprint field on hand tonight in the Pigeon Hills. Josh Wells finds the cement cushion is not so soft during a heat race. Cauldron's crash occurred early in the feature. Tonight will be Dave Healy's last ride in the Weichert colors, with goodbye ceremonies conducted here on turn 4. Asper's Glendon Forsyth, driving the Bill and Kay Tanger 07, took the lead on lap 8 and holds on over Chris Ace 17 for his first sprint car win. It's Glendon's third week in the car, and mysteriously, this will be his last. Fred Raymer finished behind Ace in third.
Dave Bloss will have I think, Glendon, I think Lincoln likes first-time winners.
Oh, I like Lincoln. I don't know how it likes me, but I love Lincoln. What a deal. I got to just thank Bill and Kay Tanger for giving me the opportunity. You know, we were running on a very slim budget with my car, and I'd give this one a try. And we got here pretty quick, so maybe we'll be back soon.
Wise Motorsport Racing videos, and here they come.
Over at Silver Spring, it's feature time with over half of the 56-car field left in the pits. And now the non-qualifiers will have even more company. Craig Morrow from Enola, driving the white number 6, has had many near misses, but tonight will be his first sportsman win. Here, the 9th place starter slips into second between Bill Heckert and Matt Ondeck before taking first from Wild Bill on the 12th lap. Rich Eichelberger finished second, with Pat Cannon third.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Weaver, Miss National Sprint Car Fans Association. Welcome to Bridgeport Speedway for tonight's Thunder on the Hill 410 show.
The Thunder formats have always evolved, and we hope it changes again as tonight time trials replace the heats. The sprinters use all 410 cubes on the big Jersey 5/8s. Lance Deweese, 88, takes first from the 77 of Dave Ely. But a yellow will force Fayetteville, PA native Lance to do it again and gives the big crowd a couple of laps to remember.
Out of the turn, down the back straightaway, Ely keeping the 88 of Deweese at bay. Here comes Michael, three-car battle off the turn, down the straightaway. Into the turn, Deweese down to the bottom of Ely, side by side. Ely and Deweese out of the turn. Wheel-to-wheel action on the back straightaway. Ely keeping Deweese at bay this time. Side by side battle. Here comes Michael. Three cars under a blanket off the corner down the straightaway. Ely and Deweese still side by side. Michael, then Schaeffer into the turn. Ely and Deweese side by side. Ely fighting back on the outside. Down the back straightaway. Ely giving it a great run into the turn. Now Deweese goes by. He grabs the lead.
We have a red as Judy Bates makes a 410 appearance, but this time Deweese has restarted in front, winning over Todd Schaeffer and Shawn Michael as Ely dropped to 10th.
You had a little battle there with Dave Ely early in the race before you were finally able to secure the lead.
Yeah, it seemed like every time I got run on him to pass him, the caution come out. But yeah, Dave was racing good. He wasn't real good. I was really good on the bottom early, and once I got the lead, I just figured we'd move up and make some mile per hour around this place, and it's plenty fast around the top.
The big block modifieds ran a full card of races as part of the big show.
Watch them now. Here they come out of the turn. Feature event time. Green is out. There they go.
But favorite, Allentown's Doug Hoffman and his Troyer number 60 over started on the feature pole. Billy Pouch and Kenny Brightbill followed Hoffman in the 30-lapper. June 8th, Jason Hagenbuck is among 49 entries as the United Racing Club makes its annual visit here at Williams Grove. Yes, we said 49. Qualifying will be tough. Shawn Michael was first to agree after contact with Dave McGuff. Here's the grandstand view. And now here goes Hagenbuck. Rick Hart spins, and Jimmy Martin has nowhere to go. The flips continued in the feature as Greg Coverdale runs over a slowing Brian Seidel. Jason Claus gets our California School of Sprint Car Racing Award for this late hit. Freshly added clay has broken up, much to the chagrin of Jeff Wary. Tim Hogue, number 3, will take the lead from Tom Martocci as we finally get going.
We go green. Hogue tries the low side, racing for the lead, and he's got it.
Mike Hagenbottom was running down the leader when he caught the lap car of Judy Bates. Driving the Scatsan Fuso car, second-generation racer Tim Hogue continues to lead. But another number 3, this one driven by Kurt Michael, is closing in and will soon be smelling the bumper of the leader. Kurt's the new driver of the Gene Friend Kawiak machine. In one of the hottest contested features anywhere all year, Tim and Kurt will swap the lead on several different occasions around the historic half mile. On lap 16, the great race for first will come to an end. The win goes to the number 18, which started all the way in back over Chris Coyle and George Suprick. The driver is Fast Freddie Raymer, and it's his record-setting 46th career Grove win, and 5th with URC. Todd Schaeffer in the Beam 88 picks up his first Grove win of the season in 410 action, taking the lead from Rick Lafferty.
This was a Mr. Excitement kind of racetrack tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, I want to thank the track people. They put some clay on here and had a couple dips and had moisture through on the bottom. You could tell we were getting wore down to the old track, but you could gas her all night, and Bridgeport was that way the other night. This must have been the way they were when I used to win, because we seem to be pretty good on these kind of tracks. I hope they dig her up every week.
June 9th, URC has 39 survivors at Grandview. More problems for Tim Hogue on the start of his heat race. The restart, Bill Bryan gets turned around. Now Hogue gets turned over and is on his way to a DNQ. The night's only other flipper is Matt Gerber. Rookie Jeff Busby, number 47, gives up the lead to number 87, George Suprick, on the 10th lap. Backstretch problems force Greg Coverdale to settle for a 23rd place finish for the second night in a row. Back from his spill last night, Shawn Michael in the Palladino 99 takes the lead from Suprick on the 19th lap. The firefighter from Allentown goes on for his second URC win of the season and 22nd career over Mike Hagenbottom and Chris Quill, with Suprick slipping to 4th. Over 50 of the wheel-rubbing modified regulars help make for a full show tonight at Grandview. The Pierogi King, Craig Von Doren, number 114, takes first away from number 357, Glenn Strunk, on the 16th lap before pulling away to his 43rd career Grandview win, worth $2,200. Strunk finished second with Chip Slocum third. Meanwhile, 24 410 sprinters are over at Lincoln, where pole sitter Brian Monteith from Phoenixville, driving the number 12, leads the feature.
Brian Monteith driving off from this field. Nicky Young second. Coldren holding third. Darren Ace is fourth. Billy Sims up to fifth.
Nicky Young was still running second when he caught the cement cushion on the 10th go-round. The race goes non-stop from there, with Brian picking up the $2,500 win over Darren Ace and Fred Raymer. It's Brian's second career win here.
You had him covered tonight.
Yeah, you know, we got lucky.
Got lucky? I mean, you were really flying around the outside of this racetrack. Got a late start this season. What happened?
We took a year off, had to get finances in order. You know, it's tough to run these things with no money.
Another upset is taking place at Silver Spring, where 26-year-old sportsman rookie Sam Leonard, number 22, is wiring the field. The best 25 of a 56 sportsman field ran the feature non-stop. Sam, from Marysville, is a graduate of the street stocks. Scott Snyder and John Provenza followed number 22 across the line. June 13th. We're at the historic and rustic Bedford Fairgrounds for a PA Posse NCRA All-Star Challenge. 35 sprinters and a large crowd equals success.
They approach the chalk line in turn number 4. Kemanaugh, Lynch, bring them around. Green flag's out and we're underway.
Buckeye All-Star Chad Kemanaugh leads at the start of the feature. The top 10 duel between Jason Johnson and Travis Rylett topped the attitude meter for the night. Lance DeWeese came from 5th starting spot for the $5,000 win. Fred Raymer will finish second, with Kemanaugh third.
Turn number 2. DeWeese is 7 car lengths in the rears. Kemanaugh trying to keep the bottom. Here comes DeWeese. They bang wheels in turn 4. Lance DeWeese takes your race lead on lap 17.
Now that's building them light. Actually, it's a parts display. June 14th, the challenge moves from the fabulous Bedford Speedway to the fabulous Lincoln Speedway. And now we have more parts, courtesy of Kelly. The triple sanction packs Lincoln with 43 410 sprinters. Jared Hall hits the wall after contact with Lance DeWeese during a heat race. Lance is undeterred, making it 2 in a row with this pass of feature pole sitter Todd Schaeffer on lap 16. Shawn Michael moved up for second at the end, with Schaeffer holding on for third. June 15th, Williams Grove. Modified vet Wade Hendrickson is among a 46-car field of 358 sprints. Wade's Hamilton lookalike sprinter gets over Jake Rodaball's tire and leaves the fourth turn. Wade might have driven back to the pits, except the gates closed. Brian Buckwalter's next on a full moon night. Dean Klein, 22, runs the race of his life, holding and reopening a large lead. Chad Layton loses his way on the fresh clay cushion. The restart. Carmen Perigo, number 2, leads briefly.
Carmen Perigo. But loses it on the backstretch. Perigo got out of shape and loses 2 spots. Tim Hershey.
Now, Perigo and Tim Hershey continue a battle for second.
Carmen on the bottom. Perigo has taken second with 3 laps to go, but Hershey takes it right back.
During a red for Eric Stamball, leader Klein dropped out. Perigo has restarted in front, and his 4th run in a 3:58 is a winning effort.
Here comes Hershey back. Tim Hershey going forward again in turn 3 again. Perigo. Second can't do it. Perigo will win Hershey second, Hammaker third.
You've won here in the Super Sportsman cars. You've won here in this one. We got to get you to move up because nobody's ever won in the 3 top divisions here. You need a 410 win.
Yeah, I don't know anybody's watching or anything, but it'd sure be nice to get a 410 ride. I'd really like that.
Well, I think you're on your way. Hey, great job tonight. You really slammed the door. I don't know if you knew it, but Hershey was really coming the last couple of laps.
I saw him there. The engine was getting tight there the longer I went because there was no water in it, and it finally caught fire up here in turn 4 back there. I don't know what for sure happened to it, but I saw him there, but he's won a ton of races. I got to get one.
And you sportsman guys know how to race. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, they definitely run close, but this division here isn't that far off. I mean, they definitely run close. Nobody can really get away from anybody in this division.
3410s competed in the heat races, during which Josh Wells lined up a tire on Frankie Herr's new sprint car ride. Josh is upside down and out for the night. The scariest ride occurred on the second lap of the feature as Jeff Rohrball breaks an axle on the front stretch. Jeff appears in better shape than his girlfriend and car. We're sorry to disappoint you car owners who consider it sweet revenge when our equipment gets crashed, but the 07 only pulled out some cords as it broke off the pole about 5 feet above the camera.
Schaeffer pitches it sideways, but Lafferty holds him off.
Rick Lafferty, 0, again leads the feature here until lap 15, when 9th place starter Todd Schaeffer works past the pole sitter. Fred Raymer will finish second, Todd Hester third. Lafferty slipping with some help to 16th.
Hey, I want to thank this track crew for putting this new clay on. If I'd have known this, I'd have paid for the clay a long time ago.
June 22nd, Williams Grove. The 358 sprints only got 2 heat races in before rain. Scotty Osherman endos the Strasball car. Corey Haas spins, collecting Kevin Nouse and Joe Whitcomb. All 3 cars flipped in the incident. The 410 sprints only conducted warm-ups, during which Dave Ely flipped after catching a rut. June 23rd, packed. The track night is a big success at Selinsgrove. Free admission might be more than made up for at the concession stand. 26 358 sprints grace the pits. Darrell Steimling grabs the lead at the start of a dramatic feature. A big early race tango involves both Chad Layton, U1, and TJ Stutz, 11. In fact, TJ did a slow roll on the second turn. Both will be back. The race restarts with Steimling leading the full field. Lap 5, Chad Layton tangles with Kevin Nouse, number 8, and will have to go to the back for the second time. Leader Steimling pitted with a flat on lap 11. Jim Nace, 6, grabbed first from Babe Bader on the restart. But here comes Stutz and Layton, especially Layton, as he roars past Stutz into second, coming around for the white flag, and then right past leader Nace on the last lap. It's the point leader's 5th feature win of the season in the marquee 358 competition at Selinsgrove.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chad. You probably would not have been at the top of the list after what happened there early in the race, but going to the back twice and then still winning the race.
I really don't know what to say about that. Hard racing going on back there in the back of the field where we got to start at. You know, unfortunately, I got together there. I don't really know who calls it. It's just one of them deals. Very fortunate to end up where we're at. I'm glad to see the turnout that we have here. More fans than I think I ever seen. It looks like Williams Grove. That's what we like to see. Hopefully I put on a good enough show for everybody. That's what I was trying to do. I did not expect to win, but we will absolutely take it.
Over at Silver Springs, 63-year-old Smokey Snellbaker of Dover in the white 32 is back from a one-race suspension for saluting the flagman. His first win of the season came over a field of 57 fellow youngsters. PA Speed Week is opening at Lincoln with 40 cars and a bad one for George Culp.
Up on the first turn. Car has gotten upside down.
Unnoticed by many was what might have been the circuit's all-time leading helmet toss. The arrows pointing at George's headwear, well on its way deep into the Thunder Car pits. Fortunately, George was not seriously hurt. The Kevin Gobrecht Memorial stars Greg Hodnett, 12, and Keith Kaufman, 7.
We look for green at the chalk line. Green is out. Your leader, Keith Kaufman, 2nd. Siegel is 3rd. Schaeffer is 4th. Keel is 5th. 6th is a 65 of Mackison. We got a new leader, Keith Kaufman, grabs the top spot.
Kaufman led until the last lap when fellow Port Royal invader Todd Schaeffer, 88, stuns the big crowd.
Oh man, it doesn't get any better than that. When I was growing up, we used to sneak in the pits and hide under Keith Kaufman's rig at Port Royal. He's a good friend of mine. We race hard, and it's easier to be second when we're in lap traffic, and I just got a shot there at the end and took it and made it, and we're here. I'll tell you what, this is something else.
June 24th, Speed Week Thunder on the Hill style at Grandview. Somebody please send either of the Miller girls' resumes to Tony George for Indy next year. Mike Hagenbottom hanging his bottom on the wall. Sean Keane is another qualifying flip victim.
Straightaway on the green, and Billy the Kid.
Billy Pouch's fine move into the lead on the start is called back by the simultaneous spills of Brooke Webley and Shawn Michael. When the 35-lap $4,000 to win feature officially gets going, Billy the Kid watches from 3rd as Dave Ely, 77, and Craig Keel in the blue number 9 race several laps side by side for the lead. Give the edge to Keel. Pouchy is driving the J&M Motorsports number 55 during one of his infrequent sprint car efforts. A modified oriented crowd's favorite, Pouch moved into 2nd, and then with 5 laps to go, challenges Keel for the lead. Just as the Frenchtown, New Jerseyite took 1st, we again have a race interruption. But the pass was called complete this time. And Billy leads Keel and DeWeese to his first sprint car win since here at Grandview exactly 1 year ago.
I thought I was good on the bottom there. We got the good start on the first start, and it's like, oh, man, they brought it back. I don't need this, you know, because I figured they'd be ready for it the next time, and they were, and that kind of screwed me up a little bit. But once we got going there, I thought the bottom was going to be the ticket the whole race, but 3 and 4 got so slick, you just couldn't run up. I mean, you just couldn't run on the bottom. And 1 and 2, everybody's run through the infield throwing the centers on the track. I about spun twice in that, and but I'll tell you, I just basically changed grooves on 3 and 4 and went high. I tried in 1 and 2, it wouldn't work, but I stayed high in 3 and 4, and that's how I got to roll around them. And then I just protect 1 and 2 on the bottom there at the end because you couldn't really roll around the top. There's too many cinders on the track.
Almost an overdose of racing at this Thunder show as 33 cars sprints join the 31 410s. Minersville micro sprint star Keith Wetzel has just moved into full-scale competition. The Thunder Girls supply visual enjoyment during the many cleanups. The feature pass for the lead will star Chad Layton, U1, as he works his way under Denny Gross, number 59, on the 9th lap.
Here comes the leader down the straightaway. It's the lap traffic now. And Chad Layton is closing the gap. Layton closing the gap now on the leader. Denny Gross down the back straightaway. Into the corner. Here comes the battle for the lead. Off the corner, side by side. Down the straightaway. New leader. Chad Layton now takes the lead from Denny Gross.
Joe Will gets into Kevin Bastian before spinning. Brian Eichelberger has nowhere to go. Jerry Stinson flips in turn 3. It's getting late, so officials avert a red for Dale Hammaker's layover.
To the turn and down the back. Here comes your leader out of 4. Coming for victory for the 3rd time will be Chad Layton.
Kevin Drury and Rich Carnathan followed Harrisburg's Layton across the finish. It's Chad's 3rd cars win in a row. Tuesday night Speed Week plays to a large crowd of knowledgeable cold cracker race fans.
At Big Diamond Raceway, the CarQuest Auto Parts 410 sprinters are coming at you.
Donnie Kreitz leads Greg Hodnett. Big Diamond has hosted only a few 410 events, but they've all been barn burners. Someone tell our announcer that Lance DeWeese, 88, is moving into 2nd.
Here they are working traffic. Hodnett got hung up behind some slower cars. Donnie Kreitz got away about 6 car lengths. Kreitz in the FX Smith cigars, 69K down the back stretch.
Contact for 2nd, and Keith Kaufman, number 7, takes the spot from 4th.
Hodnett doing a little sliding. Here comes Kaufman. Keith Kaufman moved up into number 2 position.
Soon after a lap 16 restart, Keith Kaufman will take the top position from the 69 of Kreitz on his way to his 254th career win.
In the Coors Light scoreboard on the back. Donnie Kreitz coming out of 4. Green is out. There they go down into the turn. Keith Kaufman trying the outside through 2 by 2 down the back. Kaufman going in deep. We've got a new leader. Here comes the man from Mifflintown, Keith Kaufman.
Your first win ever here at Big Diamond, and this tour is really some big money. So great race.
Well, it's a good tour. It's a long week, a lot of racing. We get to go to a lot of different racetracks like here. We don't get to come here very often, but